You ever stop and think about what's really holding the entire internet together? I mean, every article you read, every video you watch, it all starts with this kind of secret skeleton. Well, today, we're going to decode that skeleton. We're talking about HTML. Let's pull back the curtain on the code that builds our digital world. All right, so what does your favorite website have in common with a house? I know, it sounds a little weird, right? But the answer is actually super simple. Structure. See, a house needs a solid frame to stand up. And in exactly the same way, a website needs a solid framework just to exist. And for the web, that framework is HTML. So HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language, is basically that blueprint. It's not worried about painting the walls or installing the electricity. Nope. Its job is just to build the frame. It tells the browser where the walls go, where the doors go, where the windows go. It is the absolute bare-bones structure for every single thing you see online. Okay, so let's actually pull back that curtain and take a look at the secret skeleton. We're going to see how HTML takes what would otherwise be just a total jumble of text and pictures and gives it all some actual shape, turning chaos into something we can all understand. You know, the real magic here is in these little things called tags. Just think of them as labels. You take some content, could be a sentence, a word, whatever, you wrap it in a tag, and boom, you've just told the web browser exactly what that thing is. You're saying, hey browser, this part right here, that's a heading. Or this chunk of text, that's a paragraph. And really, it's that simple. You've got an H1 tag, that's your main heading. A P tag, that's a paragraph. But here's the key thing to remember. These tags aren't about how things look, not at all. They're all about meaning. We call this semantics. You're basically giving every piece of content a job to do. Okay, so if tags are the individual bricks, how do you actually, build a house with them? Let's take a look at how these little digital bricks come together to create the core of a web page. Believe it or not, pretty much every modern web page you visit has these 4 essential parts. First up, you've got the doctype. It's just a little line that tells the browser, hey, just so you know, we're using modern HTML here. Then you have the HTML tag, which is like the main container for everything. And inside that, you get the head. That's for all the behind-the-scenes stuff, like the little title you see in your browser tab. And then the body. The body is the main event. It's where all the stuff you actually see and interact with on the page lives. And this quote from the guy who literally invented the web, Tim Berners-Lee, just nails it. The main job of HTML is to describe the structure and the meaning. As for that appearance part he mentioned, yeah, we're gonna get to that in just a bit. You know, HTML didn't just show up one day with all these features. Not at all. It started out super simple and grew up over decades. Kind of like how we went from building simple huts to these massive skyscrapers. So let's take a quick look at that journey. Can you believe it started back in 1991 with only 18 tags? That's it. A few years later, HTML 2.0 came along and gave everyone a common language to use in what was basically the Wild West of the early internet. Then, in '99, HTML 4.01 became the standard, and it stayed that way for a long time. But the real game changer was HTML5 in 2014. Suddenly, the web was all about video, music, interactive stuff, and we needed a new foundation. HTML5 was that foundation. It gave us things like video and audio tags right inside the browser, no plugins needed. So we've spent a lot of time on the skeleton, right? But let's be honest, a skeleton on its own isn't exactly a house. It's not very useful, and it's definitely not pretty. That's because HTML never works alone. It's actually part of a team, a powerhouse trio that makes the whole web experience what it is. So, first piece of the puzzle, HTML. Like we've been saying, this is the structure, the raw skeleton. Everything is organized, everything has its place, but yeah, it's not exactly winning any beauty contests. Then you bring in the second member of the team, CSS, or Cascading Style Sheets. Think of CSS as the interior designer. It comes in, looks at that bare-bones HTML skeleton, and adds all the style. We're talking colors, fonts, layouts, everything that makes it look good. CSS is what makes the web beautiful. And to complete our house, we have JavaScript. So if HTML is the frame and CSS is the design, JavaScript is all the stuff that makes the house work. It's the electricity, the plumbing, the Wi-Fi. It's what adds all the interactivity. It's the reason your buttons actually do something when you click them, and your forms can actually be submitted. Okay, so we've got style from CSS and functionality from JavaScript. So why do we care so much about the simple HTML skeleton? Well, it's pretty simple. Without a strong foundation, the whole house just falls apart. So why does good, clean HTML matter so much? Well, for one, it's the foundation everything else is built on, but it's also absolutely crucial for accessibility. It's what lets screen readers make sense of a page for users with visual impairments. It's also a huge deal for SEO, helping Google understand your content. And for the folks actually building the websites, good HTML just makes their lives a million times easier when it's time to update something. So here's the bottom line, the most important takeaway from all this. You can take away the CSS, all the pretty colors. You can take away the JavaScript, all the cool features. And you know what? You can still read the information. But if you take away the HTML, the whole web just dissolves. It's gone. It would be nothing but a giant chaotic pile of text documents. Total mess. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. For more than 30 years, HTML has grown from a simple little tool for sharing documents into the absolute backbone of our entire digital lives, from shopping online to exploring virtual reality. So as things get even more complex, you have to wonder, what kind of skeleton are we going to need to build whatever comes next?